are.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, that's nice to be there.
I'm at Juan's house right now.
In the
Yeah,
workshop. I don't know if you want to maybe show them the workshop. It's a small space, and that is what we are working in. There's no AC, no nothing. It's just
Yeah.
a humble home in a little, I can't even tell you the square footage. It's like a small, tiny room. They're showing you. Look.
But you
so
guys are so cool. I'm sure you don't need an air conditioner.
Yeah. We have
No.
printer here.
yeah, we buy
More puns to come. It's okay.
we buy a
So we
printer.
just got the 3D printer. We just got the
Yeah,
3D
Nice.
printer 2 days ago. So we
Oh,
had a
which one did you
piece.
guys get?
Flash Forge.
Yeah,
Okay.
the
we
5M.
take to Romeo printer. Equal.
That's great.
Yeah. And this is the first print. I
The first print done in Mexico.
Guys,
Oh, that's
It's
great.
really good for the
Yeah.
Quawu arm.
yeah,
So we ended up so this past weekend we had a brigade, a prosthetic brigade. So it
Mhm.
was like a 2 day event at a radio station, and people came, and Juan, we were able to do some leg prosthetic adjustments and like the molding and stuff, but we
Mhm.
also did a patient came needing an arm. So we had brought the arm from Atlanta based off of the measurements and everything, but when we got here it was too big. So
Mhm.
thankfully we had like three other models, and we used one that it printed out in a bunch of different colors. Listen, so it printed out in a bunch of different colors. So it was dark, it was like a peachy color, and it was like a sandy color. And it fit him perfectly. And we were like, he said he wanted this one. He liked that it gave vitiligo vibes. So
Ah,
he loved it. He loved it. So we're making the final adjustments for it right now because it was just a demo, so it wasn't like infilled completely correctly. So
yeah.
Juan is showing us how to make this metal,
Okay.
like aluminum. So we're gonna also put is it carbon fiber, Juan?
what?
Carbon
Carbon.
fiber that we're putting on the prosthetic for Juan?
This is a one prosthesis. Yeah. For
See.
what? Yeah. Look, it's a combination.
Mhm.
Yeah. ¿Sí lo
That's nice.
que Daniela?
Yeah, you're gonna
Can,
put
can can you
aluminum.
guys hold it in front of the screen just a hair longer so we can look at its
We
glory?
combine a carbon, let's combine carbon fiber there. So there
Mm-mm.
can be a more support. Yeah. I've been
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
a fast socket to combine. I want to combine the two ideas. When Carlo finish, we combine the idea of carbon. Yeah.
Let's see, show this
To be
part
more
one more
support.
time.
Yeah.
So at the hand part, it's all these different skin tones,
Yeah.
but in combination.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There. It's a new pieces. We are adapt because
Mhm.
the patients are different size of envelope or munion or socket. They're
Mhm.
two different. Carlo, in when they start to check the patient, we decide to do other hand, and we combine the idea to do a most better support. Imagine when put his, I use this material. It's medical material to use in my prosthesis leg and combine the prosthesis another material, and with both when the patient use put the munion or the envelope inside, it's total blocked. Yeah, they're the inside and be they're very hard to move it. Yeah.
So it was perfect. That design and the size ended up being perfect for the patient because it suctioned in. And we used like
Uh-huh.
we didn't use like the foam that's recommended. We used like diabetic foam instead, and it worked out a lot better too. So it ended up coming out perfect. He's getting his prosthetic. Is it, I think on Saturday. Saturday he's getting his prosthetic. But it's been really nice too because the patient's daughter was born here in the States, and he brought her back to Mexico. So they're asking me, since I have a lot of experience interpreting and working with like government offices, they asked me if I could help them. So I've been like scheduling consulate appointments for them. We did the health screenings too. We've just been doing a lot. And on Wednesday we had a really really big meeting with the Rotary Club here in Mexico, in Cancun, and they had proposed 350,000 pesos to us to do our project. So
Okay.
it's a really big deal.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stuff that we're doing. Juan and Romeo are going to Mexico City tomorrow. Well,
Tomorrow.
tonight at 11. Their flight is at 1. They're gonna be there all day, and then they're coming back at 1 in the morning. They have 30 patients that they're going to be seeing.
Wow.
Yes, so we
Ah.
got here and we hit the ground running.
Another thing to forget, Daniela, we gave 2 hands to Milpalta. You remember Monica and Christopher?
Oh yeah, we're getting 2 more patients from another two. So in the first lot of the 9 prosthetics that we sent,
Yeah.
2 of those patients are coming from another state to
Yeah.
go to Mexico City so they can get fitted for the prosthetic actually right now.
Yes.
So those are the hands that are getting worked. So we're gonna try to add in the next week. We're gonna try to add some kind of electronic components to it, so we can try to make it a little bit more electronic.
Yeah, this is the idea of the 3-week prepared electronic models. Yeah, and final modifications. Yeah.
What additions were you guys thinking?
¿Qué le gustaría agregar a la prótesis? O sea, ¿qué componentes electrónicos?
It's my question for me.
Yeah.
Ajá.
A fast block or model when have a fisher, ¿cómo se dice?
Fishing line?
Fishing line, connect with a servo, and try to do first position and second position, open and close position. Is the idea to do a single electronic with be a more practical thing to do in Mexico to offer. The idea is to combine the single or the dispositives enabled and do a single electronic. That is possible. The idea to give more advantage or have more popular and do more things that the people be attract attention in Mexico to look at 3D printer and electronic hand. Just the idea is just to use batteries AA or AAA rechangeable with a small module to servo controller, and we control the positions that the servo be positioned in position 1. Maybe the position 1 or 0 is open and the second position is closed. The idea is combined that it's possible for the smaller people, or for example, in the case of the Celaya, Guanajuato, to don't have totally the possibility to don't move completely the hand or the dispositive, combine the electronical or propose idea to give a small module electronical to just open in the first position and the second position. Yeah.
Wait, that sounds doable. Okay. Good luck.
Yeah. The idea is small and cheaper. Yeah, this is the idea. Fast, cheaper, and practical to change, no? The idea is to be a standard, to be enabled to the people. If you want to do a small model servo controller, to use it, no? For the idea is to be a standard to use in different countries, it is possible, or if interchangeable, if you want to test in different hands. Yeah, this is the idea to do the dispositive, the practical dispositive, no? Yeah.
Juan also had the idea that during our brigades, we print small, medium, and large of everything we have available. So that way, when we're there and all the patients come, we could just fit them. And it ended up working out. Like that idea worked out this past weekend because it did. The one that we had for him was large, and the fact that we had a demo that was a medium, it fit him perfectly. So we didn't have to make any adjustments. The only reason we're having to make that adjustment for how it latches on is because it broke because of the infill, because it was a demo. It wasn't to actually be meant to be used.
Sure,
But
sure.
he's like, I don't want it to use. I just want it so that way I don't get like bullied anymore. I just want it for the visuals. So we're like, okay, yeah, we'll totally do that, but just know that we're gonna use you again, and we're gonna add the electronic components. With that patient, he also took a snorkeling. He took a snorkeling. So we were with him and his wife, and we got on the boat, and it was so beautiful. It was such a beautiful experience. I sent you pictures. I sent you pictures.
I saw the pictures. They're gorgeous. Yeah. 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 It's the great thing I think about what you're talking about is not just the people you help, but it's also the connections you're making in the world and the community, right? The one thing that sometimes I think some of our volunteers don't get to experience just through logistics is, a lot of times they'll ship a hand and they don't really know anything about the person they sent it to. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Go ahead, Juan. Juan, what's
I
up?
mentioned the idea of give a standard. You remember when in the last session, when I say when we small, medium, and large. In the case
Mm-hmm.
of one, because Carlo and Romeo have a different hand, no? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and the case of Carlo, it's a very good idea have a standard when have the brigade discover this idea because it's a
Yeah,
possibility if example if this hand is done total good or they are very similar, we can use different alternatives that with a good finish result. Yeah, and this is a very good idea to be a standard in the brigade for small, medium, and large. This is a very good, nice idea. Yeah. If you want to complete me, please, Daniela.
No, good job. You did a good job.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, I congratulations for all. They are very good equipment. We are work my job, and I do big things. No, I think Daniela want to do more things. No, for this. Yeah.
that's really great. I mean, you were already doing wonderful work before, so I'm glad we're able to find someone like you and collaborate with you, Juan. I mean, you're a real treasure, not only to your community, but also just to humanity, I'll be honest with you. So we're very proud to be associated with you at this point, Juan. And of course Danielle and Romeo, of course, we wouldn't know without you. But that's fantastic. That's really great. I'm going to tell you a couple things that I find extremely inspiring. We have volunteers that are constantly asking, okay, what can I do? What can I do? And everybody's got a certain amount of work and volunteer work that they're willing to do, right? But the people who are actually out there fighting the good fight without very much direction, just say, hey, just get us a couple cases. And I think I asked you to give me 5 cases in a month, and you got me a whole country. So, and Juan and Romeo. And so this is really, really fantastic work. And it's very clear to me that not only do people, I think, overuse, Madeline and I have talked about this. Feel like people overuse the word passion. And I feel like they don't know what that means. You know, passion is pushing through and having endless energy for a thing. It's not just liking a thing. It's not just like, oh, I have a passion for movies and you watch a movie a week, right? Like
Yeah.
I have a passion for my kids, but you barely see them when you come home and you don't do anything.
Fantastic.
Passion is that thing that burns and keeps you going even when you're tired, even when you've got other work to do, even when like people are telling you, how do you think you can do this? You're only one person, you're only three people. Passion is the reason the world revolves. It takes people like the three people I'm talking to right now to do these things, and of course anybody, any enable. So you guys are kind of 10x the usual enable person, I'll be honest with you. And we have plenty of enable people that are just as great as you guys, and our goal is to bring those people out just like we are with you guys. And I have no doubt you're not going to run out of energy for this anytime soon, which
Oh
is
no.
amazing too. Yeah.
I've been doing this for 7 years, so the fact that I have Enable now, like
Yeah.
I've been on the radio, I've been doing all this stuff, and I wanted to be a builder.
Yeah.
But the fact that I got this opportunity to do this now, and like I'm
Mhm.
the only one that speaks like the full Spanish, so I've been here connecting everybody, and it's been so like I feel like you guys are helping me accomplish my dreams. So I do have an unlimited amount of energy. Like I'm so happy that we're doing this together. Just talking to you
Absolutely.
guys just makes me want to go even harder for all of this. Like I have an amazing team. The way
Yeah.
that they are with my son, the fact that we have my 3-year-old son here and the patients are there like talking to him and playing with him, and my
Yeah.
son's like, why do you have a prosthetic? And they tell him, like my son is helping me do the molds for the legs. Like it's insane. It's so Even if I never get paid for this, like I don't care. Like I love this. Like I love this
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah, I completely agree with that aspect. And actually, you're doing more for your son than you think. Mel and I were on a call to Burundi a couple weeks ago, and the guy we were talking to was a surgeon who was trained in the U.S. He's Caucasian, he's not African. And he was the son of some missionaries that were living in Burundi. And he loved that work that he got trained at medical school, residency, did a general surgery training in the US, went back to Burundi, and is now providing low-cost surgical care for the residents of Burundi. And
Wow.
he's like, Dr. Nguyen, you would be shocked at how much we spend in the US and how much we can do with so little.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what Juan is able to do. He's able to take the resources he's got and make these amazing prosthetics custom made that would normally cost thousands of dollars in the US. Like a custom made anything in the US is thousands of dollars.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. I want to buy a suit that's bespoke. I'm not spending $100. That's just a suit that doesn't help me do anything but look good, right? So, but and you know what? It's both a wonderful statement and a terrible statement about humanity that your patient says, I just want to wear this so I don't get bullied anymore. Right? That's awful. But at the same time, it's wonderful that we have people like Juan able to take a prosthetic, make it better, custom make it, dedicate his life to helping these patients who say, I don't even need the arm to work. I just want it to look good. And so I can walk through society and not be called out, right?
Yeah.
And bullying takes many forms, right? It's not just like what we think, people yelling at you, making fun of you. Sometimes it's just the awkward stare,
Yeah.
right? Right. So you guys are doing fantastic work. Um, I I was going to bring up some other things, but I want to talk about how we can indirectly support your work and then later directly, but later directly will have to come later. We'll have to talk about later. But um, Manlin
You
and I are,
know,
go
you
ahead.
know what you can help us with?
Go ahead.
If you give us some kind of paper or something that says that e-NABLE is a nonprofit.
Oh yeah.
I went to this place where all the Hispanics congregate, all the Latinos congregate in
Yeah.
Georgia, and they're
Yeah.
doing this giant, super big Hispanic Heritage Festival
Yeah.
for the Independence Day of Mexico on the
Yeah.
16th. And they
Yeah.
told me if you can just provide us with the paper for nonprofit, you don't have to pay. But if you guys just show up, it's gonna be like 800 or $1,000. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna ask Dr. Kwan to see if he could help us with that because all we need is a paper and then we can table there.
So I'll tell you what, it's either e-NABLE that will give you the paperwork for, or my own separate branch of e-NABLE, which is the United e-NABLE Coalition. We're both nonprofits. So
Okay.
we can give you some paperwork that says you represent either United e-NABLE Coalition, which I am actually the head of, and then e-NABLE Coalition, which we'll see. But like, so
Okay.
either way, we can give you paperwork. When do you need it by?
As soon as possible. But if
Okay.
not, no rush.
No, no, no. I mean, as soon as like when is the event?
It's I have to kind of turn in the paperwork by next week at the latest.
Okay, then as soon as possible really means like tomorrow. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
my own paperwork I can get faster. So
Okay.
if you guys are okay with calling yourself the United Enable Coalition,
That's fine.
that's not an official enable, but we're our own separate thing. We were the ones doing work for Uganda and West Bank and all this kind of stuff. So
So I needed to ask you about that. I
yeah,
just got a contact in Uganda, a guy that does charity work with orphans.
uh-huh.
He told me a specific area that he's in. So I mentioned Enable and he said, honestly, I've never heard about Enable, but that would help a lot because all the people that I serve, like, they need that. So I was like, let me,
Oh, Daniela, I love you. Why don't you do this offline? I'm being totally serious, and I'll tell you for other reasons. But why don't can you email his contact information to me and Manlin?
yes.
And then Manon and I, and yeah, email it, do it like a warm handoff, and then we will take care of the rest.
Okay. Okay.
Is
Okay.
that is
Okay.
that okay?
Yes. Perfect.
Uh, yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, a lot of this work for me because I do other things. We drop a lot of seeds and see what grows, Okay. And like, so, this contact will work, that contact won't work. Sometimes that contact works 3 months later, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so at some point we're going to hit a tipping point where everything goes at once and we're going to get overwhelmed. So,
Mm-hmm.
but that's why we're glad we have you. Like in your case, yours was not as we planted one seed and we got a whole fucking jungle. I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to say that
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to say that on live stream. I think somebody can bleep that out later, but like so that's really fantastic. So I think at this point, okay, I'll send a note to my board and ask for like some kind of letter. What does it have to say that you're a member of the United Uganda Coalition? Is that good enough? We're
All
nonprofit.
they told me is that we kind of need to just show the paperwork that says that we're a nonprofit.
Oh,
Okay.
so just like IRS tax number, that should be fine.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, we'll give our tax number and we'll say what our nonprofit status and all that. Is that fair?
Okay.
And
Yeah.
then you just at that point you just don't call yourself Enable Georgia, call yourself United Enable Coalition, and
Okay.
then that'll be fine. And then when they ask you what you guys do, so you're affiliated with Enable, you do work in developing nations, which is 100% true.
Okay.
Okay. By the way, now you, Romeo, Juan, and Daniela, you're not only part of Enable, now you are now also inducted into United Enable Coalition. So if I had a sword and I'd do that kind of thing, but I don't have a sword. Okay, that's fantastic. I really love that. So the other thing that we're going to indirectly, once we're up and running, and that probably won't be for another month or so, Manlin has created a brand new Face of Enable website, like a brand new website where it'll be easier to sign up. Makers will be signed up and all these kind of things. We're also going to have a section called Stories. I think that's the name, but it's essentially we're going to be highlighting the work of various chapters, and your work needs to be highlighted. And Juan, same thing with you. We're also going to have highlights on patients, and we're going to have highlights on makers who've made some interesting things. So you don't have to say how you made it if you don't want to, but I think it's inspiring to see what people have made, if that makes sense. Like, and then it triggers other people to say, hey, maybe I could do that. I'm also a maker. Because there's different levels of makers. There's people who just 3D print. There's people who design on CAD and 3D print. And there's people who are down and dirty makers that make with their hands. And some people are all three, right?
That's
Um,
Juan.
yeah, that's right.
Can
So
you
I
please
think,
put this,
go
Daniela,
ahead.
please, to try to understand fine?
I'm sorry.
Dijo
Can you
que
please?
lo que él está diciendo es de que existen varios tipos de diferentes de creadores, los que hacen
Sí.
en su mente, los que hacen con sus manos y luego los que hacen en verdad con sus manos. Y dice, Juan es una de esas personas que él hace de todo, con
Sí,
todas sus cosas.
así es. I have the three ideas. Always when I think something, I start to imagine. I be here to listen, but in my mind I start to create and do things. No, this is a natural ability. We can do it. Yeah. Thank you for recognizing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Hey,
know.
John, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm on an unexpected family mission, so I'm checking in, but not really present.
That's okay. We did nothing about this call except talk about you. You can check the live stream. It's all John Schill for like 30
Okay,
minutes. 30 minutes
very
of
good.
just like glazing John Schill. But you can watch the live stream. You'll see I'm not lying.
That's perfect. I'll look forward to that.
This is really great work. All three of you, and then all of your brigade. I love the concept of the brigade. I really like that. It sounds like an army, right?
It's so
fantastic.
awesome. It's literally so awesome. Like we get the space, people just show up. We bought them pizza. We were just there talking about how they hate the government here and like how the people offer to help. But it ends up just being, oh, for a photo op, and then they completely forget about you and they discard you.
And it's funny.
That's actually extremely true for a lot of.
So they were saying the fact that you guys are actually here is so surreal, and the fact that you guys are so nice to us, you guys have been so nice. And we're like, yeah, because we love you guys. Like we want to help. Like we love what we're doing. And we sit there and we talk to them for hours. Like they share their stories with us. They talk about how there's inclusive beaches here. Like it's I think this is the one of the best places to do like prosthetic retreats and prosthetic rehabilitation, like at the beach and like the surfing, adaptive surfing, stuff like that. Like, it's a really big possibility that we could possibly do that.
Well, Daniela, lead the way. I think that's really great. I heard enough to be very excited about this. And by the way, your congratulations. This video with a few of your photos would make a great little Instagram or TikTok or something, just to explain what you're doing and how it relates to e-NABLE. If you do that, please let us know, and we'll see what we can do to push it around.
Okay, so I actually post on the e-NABLE Instagram and Facebook almost every
Perfect.
day.
Good for you.
So I've been starting to get a lot more like followers and people that are sharing our stuff. So, and we just got a social media person. So hopefully we have like 2-3 volunteers that are willing to do the
Wow.
social media post. So we're hoping to make
Okay.
it super cute.
All right. You're on a roll.
Thank you, John.
Great to see you all. Thanks for all your
Likewise.
good work. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, John.
Yeah,
I feel like we just had the cameo from John Shaw. That's fantastic. Okay, well, this is really great work. Going forward, e-NABLE will have more of a structure to assist you better. But yes, if all you need from me is the
That
paperwork,
paper.
yeah, we will we'll get something together for you within the next 24 hours. Give me 24 hours to sort it out.
Okay, yes, please.
Yeah, it's fine.
Well, I was actually curious because Sarah's been all over the world, like Colombia, visiting different e-NABLE chapters. If she has any like things that she thinks you guys should consider or feedback for you guys, Sarah, I don't want to put you on the spot, but
yeah, no, I think you're doing great work. I don't have a specific feedback right now. I don't know if you have any questions. I think like it's most of the feedback and the takeaways that I have for people comes with visiting in person and seeing everything unfold. But I don't have any specific feedback right now.
Sarah,
Other than good. Yeah.
I would love to touch base with you offline. I know Manlin has, and I haven't had that privilege because I think the day she was interviewing you, I wasn't present because I was doing something else. But I would love to touch base with you. And the reason is, Sarah has a wealth of knowledge about our international chapters, and I'm glad Manlin brought that out.
Yeah.
Because as we move forward to e-NABLE 2.0, or I don't know if John would call it 2.5 or 3.0, we really need to highlight these stories that Daniela and Romeo and Juan have. But then also, Sarah, you were telling us about the wonderful work being done in other countries as well.
Yeah.
And these are the stories we definitely need to highlight on the site, in a special place. And I think when people start to see those things, they become inspired to be part of that movement. And that inspired might be on the level of Daniela and Romeo. Not everybody is as crazy pants invested as you guys are, but there are also people who would just like to give money, or some people who would like to just build one hand and say, hey, I did a good thing in the world today, right? And so and when Danielle and I call you and Romeo crazy sauce, crazy pants, I'm actually including myself and Manlin and Sarah and John in that. Like, you really can't do that with people who aren't a little bit nuts about doing
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You got to be a little nuts about doing stuff like this, right? And but I think these stories will really help. What I love about enabling the future that was previously designed by Jen, is that it really brings the heart of what e-NABLE is. Like, why are we doing this, right? It's not just about building cool stuff, right? It's about building stuff that actually is going to be useful to another human being in the world, right? So I think it's great what you're doing, and going forward, we have a lot of things that are coming that are not ready for prime time in terms of a live stream. But the first thing will be kind of the new website, and that's I would say, like, from what I've seen, is about 70 or 80% complete. Would you agree with that, Manlin? Yeah, it's about 70, 80% complete. We will preview it to people who have a strong stake in it, like current chapter leaders, and of course, Sarah and the people on this. And you guys can give your feedback about like what we can do to improve it. And then once we go out into our beta in the world, it's going to be very important to continuing your work. Um, if you look at some of the other websites that I love, and I've Jonathan and other people have brought this one up to me, but Make Good Design. I love the creator of that website. I love their mission. I love what they've done with it. They apparently vibe coded the entire website, and within 3 months, they had a huge user base, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I love what they've done. And with clearly a lot of work, but I do think engagement. So the other thing I would love is, if it's not too hard or difficult, Danielle and Romeo, is if you could get a couple of interesting stories that you just kind of document. You can use ChatGPT, or you can just your own voice or whatever you want to do, but just like the other thing, and Sarah's brought this up a couple of times to us, and she's right, is that a lot of times we focus on like the cool thing we made. And what I love
Mhm.
about what the three of you have talked about is like the people you've helped. And I would love for the people who are willing, maybe we could do profiles on some of them. For the people who are like, hey, would you like mind being on the internet, like internet famous for 10 minutes? And we can talk about your story and like and our journey towards creating you a good prosthetic. And I say journey because we should really treat it that way. We should treat it like this first prosthetic we made might be garbage, and we'll eventually
Oh,
get to the one you want. And Juan is very not used to this work. He's used to the idea of taking something and it's not perfect for them the first time, and you just keep working on it until it is perfect. And I think a lot of the enable community is not used to that. They're used to, I 3D printed the one thing, I sent to the person, and hopefully they like it.
Yeah.
Right? Do you know what I mean? But you guys are doing the way it should be done, which is I 3D printed something. It's not perfect. What can we do to make it perfect? Right? And that's a journey. That's not a destination, right? And so those are the kind of things we need to highlight. And I think highlighting the patient story, because we want to encourage patients to be part of making it better too, right?
Yeah.
We want them to say, hey, it's fine, except it chafes me. Maybe if you added a little foam here, or you changed the shape, or you made this part lighter because and I saw somebody with carbon fiber, can you put that on my prosthetic?
Yeah.
Right? So that's, when we talk about like what's the vision for what Enable is, um, and what it should be and what it can be. This is just furthering that vision, right? So,
I have a question.
um, go ahead.
So for the changes we do see and the feedback that we get, because we do have maybe a page or two of just recommendations from the patients and also Juan. How do we go about getting those changes or improvements implemented? Even
Yeah.
if it's some one-off stuff, or it might be something that we think could permanently improve the design. Say, for instance, something small. Uh, for these Phoenix hands, just
Yeah.
one idea of maybe just adding a small mark here behind the thumb that's 30 degrees, since this should be 30 degrees, so everybody doesn't have to eyeball it. Basically, they have a mark here that they can just follow to get the right alignment.
The great thing about the suggestion is not that hard to do.
Okay.
Mhm.
So what I would say is, if you have recommendations, I love that. Then it's dynamic. Then we are changing things. So
Yes.
why don't we do this? Why don't you go ahead and put together a document? I don't know how quickly we can do it. If they're simple, we can do it right away, right? I can find literally a robotics junior high school, a high school student junior who could do it for you in like an hour, right? Whatever it is you're asking. If it's complicated, then we may table it for a little bit, but we can still find someone who can do it. There's definitely people keep asking me what they can do who are actually designers. So why don't you go ahead and do a doc, and she share it with Manuel and I. Manuel and I will kind of put it in some sort of drive, and we'll try to figure out who would be the best connection for you. Is that fair?
That sounds good, though. Thank you.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a full-on document, like a design document either. If you just want to keep like a journal and then with all the insights that you come across, and then we'll work through it with the actual design.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Let me clarify. Manlin is actually in the world of engineering. So when I mean, I'm just a doctor. So when I think like doc, I really literally just meant like a journal, something very informal. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I'm sure when I say doc to engineers, they're like "Ah, design doc, something very specific. Yeah, yeah. Okay. All right. Excellent, excellent. Jonathan, did you have any thoughts? And I don't mean to call you out if you don't.
No, I think it sounds great. I love the collaboration, internationally, and uh, see enthusiastic stuff happening. I've been here for a couple of years, and there's been a lot of time where I think that some of these changes would be good. Now I get to see it happen.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, I love that you turned on your camera with the thumbs up. That really That's great. That's really great. Um, Jonathan and Sarah were there on some of the talks when we were talking about the changes, and I don't want to go through everything because most of it's not truly set in stone. Some things will happen in the next 6 months. It all starts with the website because without the proper front face, then we can't really do anything. But a lot of it has to do with things like that, social media, which Danielle and Romeo are doing very well right now. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you have a question, sir? Romeo?
Yes, I want to do something.
Mm-hmm.
I will say something. I'm so
Please.
happy first for enable be here. The idea to change the lives of the people to Mexico to say in the morning enable put his flag in Mexico because it's important that people know this kind of thing, So I talk with the people and I say the idea to enable is be an standard to
Mm-hmm.
the people to do not possible to have the young people, maybe for teenagers, to don't have a possibility to have a leg, no? Or a hand, or sorry, a hand. And this is the idea for me to and I talk with the people when I say to start to do a part of Mexico, no? To adopt Mexico, enable to a movement that the people when I say, oh, I don't have my hand or you have don't have idea or the resources to give opportunity to have a hand and this is the enable, no? The idea to try to all the people want to know the movement of enable, no? Tomorrow the brigade is to be important because uh, Mexico City is a form that present the project formal, but cases and other people know it. Tell me organize in December maybe a movement to do around of the Mexico, no? The idea is have cases or have a schedule organized with activities.
A ver, se corta un poquito, Juan. Se está cortando mucho. But he's just saying that having Enable here in Atlanta is a really, really big deal because nothing exists like this. Enable is honestly revolutionary for Mexico because they've had access to 3D printers, but they're so expensive, and they've made 3D printed stuff here, but it's not what Enable is. Like Enable is like Autobach over here, you know?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So it's a really, really big deal. So the fact that we'll be able to like partner with like organizations that specifically help children, it's gonna be a really big thing for Enable. And he's also mentioning how in December, we're planning on coming back. After December, I'm planning on coming back every 3 months. But I need until December to save up a little bit of money because that's going to be the whole. We're going to be going to my part of Mexico. We're going to come back to Cancun and then Mexico City. And Mexico City, I think, is like the capital of amputees. It's like so many amputees over there, like so many amputees. So
Yeah.
You know, that actually kind of makes me feel awful and inspired at the same time. And I'll say because like, you know, Mexico, they're like our best friends. They live literally just underneath, like south of the country, I should say, underneath south of the US. And we have so much, and we have so many people who are willing to 3D print hands. And it honestly doesn't have to be just Danielle and Romeo. It literally, we have our own kind of unofficial brigade that we
yeah,
can to make to 3D print. And honestly, they could either ship directly to Mexico, or it might even be better just to ship directly to Danielle and Romeo. And then when you travel down, you guys are our ambassadors, right? And so,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So that's both great and a little bit dismaying that we haven't helped yet. So it's great that we have that ability to help. So
Yeah. Thank you.
yeah, that's
yeah.
fantastic.
Honestly, thank you so much for the opportunity. Just the fact that you even talked to us and spend time to really give us some like pointers and stuff. Like we wouldn't be able to do this if it weren't for your guys' like help.
So, thank you.
We are a nice team. We are a nice team.
We're
Yeah.
a great team. We're a really good team.
Very good team.
Me and
Yeah.
Juan, the first couple of days we were arguing a lot. We were crashing our heads together because he would talk over me, I would talk over him, and would be like, "Stop, be quiet, just hush for a moment so we can talk about everything we need to do," because we were just exploding with ideas of what we could do with e-NABLE here. Like we're so excited.
And reverse is the same to me. Yeah. The same to me. Yeah. But there are good explosion. Boom. Yeah. Yeah.
This
That's
is
nice.
this is really great. Um, from our end, what else is happening? The United, our Uganda work is progressing. It's kind of slowed a little bit, partly through funding issues, but that'll clear up, and we'll probably start sending some more. We are also sending to the West Bank right now. And so we'll have to see how that goes. We've talked to a few organizations, and we have some feelers out. Burundi is very interested in cooperating with UEC and e-NABLE. Not cooperating, collaborating is a better word. Madeline and I also talked to a lady out in Vietnam at the Mine Action Center, I believe was the name of the facility, and there's still unexploded ordnance, even from the 1970s, all the way back in the Vietnam War, that still exists, and kids are losing their arms and limbs, and some of them have to drop out of school because of this, because they apparently use little chalkboards and chalk, and they can no longer grip the chalk to do their homework or their schoolwork. And so we're even thinking about, can we find a better prosthetic that just grips chalk, right? So that work will start soon once we have our first few cases to measure. So they're working on that. But so there's all sorts of good stuff. I think starting in September around ish, Mel and I will try to coordinate schedules, and we're going to talk to some of the more still active chapters like yours and see what kind of work they're doing, and then try to get their feedback on what they want to see out of e-NABLE as well. And then
Okay.
kind of, so just like what you've asked, hey, even simple things like, hey, I would love a letter that says I'm a nonprofit. You know what? Done. That one's easy. So, but we're going to go ahead and do a listening tour with the currently the very active chapters. So, Sarah, we're gonna ask you. I know that you've either have been constructing or have constructed a list. So we're gonna ask you for the list of chapters we know are active, and I think starting at September, maybe extending out into October, we're gonna start reaching out to chapters. At least Madeline and I will, and kind of talking to them about everything we do and want to do before we make it a general announcement of all.
And I should have that list now that Sarah constructed.
Oh, you do? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, so I misspoke. Okay. Anything else that anyone wants to add?
Yeah, actually, just to circle back, so my favorite thing about being a part of e-NABLE is traveling and meeting chapters in person, often as they are working with recipients. And Daniela, if you are collecting stories from people, different chapters have different processes. Sometimes it's really informal and they'll just ask someone, hey, is it okay if we share a photo of this or a video? And some chapters have like waivers that people sign. And I think that's a really good idea to have that, and to make sure that whether it's a signed waiver or some kind of a conversation that is in some way documented, just to make sure that you're making sure that people understand that their image and their device and how they're using their device will be shared on the World Wide Web and be visible to everyone, and make sure that like people know the options. Do you want to just show like a close-up of you using your hand and not show your face, or is it okay to show your face?
So
And
do
then
you require me to give a signature, because they specifically ask us to post online,
who's they?
like the recipients.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, you don't need, like, I think
'Cause I can still
that's,
get the paperwork for you. That's fine. I'll
yeah,
print some stuff
no, we
out.
don't, like, I don't think enable doesn't enforce like it doesn't like oversee individual chapter social media and or the processes that different chapters have to share um the work that they do online. I think, yeah, I don't know if that's something that we would want to um discuss, but no, that it's not required, but I think it's a good idea to make sure that like people really understand what's being shared, and to know that they have options. And like um I was just handling a case request from someone who um you know, really wanted privacy and didn't want to share pictures of the limb difference posted to the hub, and would only wanted to do that through email. So also to make sure that people know that if they don't want their stories or names or faces to be shared, that doesn't affect, that the help that they would receive. And
Okay.
that like this is like just making sure that um everyone understands like sharing their stories and sharing the recipient perspective is totally welcomed and encouraged, and also totally optional and not required. So, yeah.
That's a
Okay.
very good point, Sarah. And as
That is.
far as what's required and things like that, I would say going forward, as a matter of your personal policy, I would get that paperwork from everybody you meet about what they want to do. Because later down the road, you may decide you want to post something, but then you're like, crap, I never asked them if that was okay. I don't know if that makes sense. And so I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
going forward,
100%.
and then so, but my point is that later on you may want that option, and they may have been okay with it, but now you're in the US. So it's a little
Yeah.
different. The other
Yeah.
thing that will help enable as a group is if you have some kind of waiver of paperwork, if we decide we also want to post it because it's amazing as a story on the main enable webpage itself, then we can store that paperwork and say, okay, well, they said they were okay with it. But no, I
Okay.
think that's fair. Yeah. Thank you, Sarah, for bringing that up. That's very important.
We can we can get those signed and keep those internally. If
Yeah, I
needed. I
think so.
believe we do have a form for that.
Perfect. And if you keep them internally, that we don't need the paperwork unless we're going to post it on our website, and then we'll need the paperwork. Go ahead.
Excuse me, doctor, I have a question.
Please.
If I don't have a paperwork, if, in example, I sometimes do that when I start to record a video. I say that something or someone else. Can you let me the opportunity to put your face? This other thing. if I record and the people accept it's possible to do change his face, it's okay or not possible. I don't know the laws here. So,
All the laws
uh-huh,
in Mexico, we might have to check the laws in Mexico.
because the people understand this in this case, no, but if you record and I say the people, it's possible if I record you or take photos, it's okay for picture. It's equal or no? It's have the same available to the paperwork.
We have to look into that, Juan.
Yeah.
I wrote it down para
Yeah.
buscarlo más al rato para ver si estamos en problemas legales o algo.
Yeah. It's okay. And then I don't want to, the great work, whether we photograph it or not, or video it or not, you know, it's still it's wonderful work regardless. But
Okay.
you guys know as well as I do, through the power of social media and advertising and things like that, the movement only grows, right?
Uh-huh.
And so, you know, telling the patient stories helps us grow the movement.
You
And
see?
that's really all it is.
Yeah, but definitely a really good idea and keeps things really clear and organized to
Yeah,
have signed paperwork.
I
Yeah.
agree with that. I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. Especially as
Okay,
you grow,
that's nice.
it's also to keep you guys safe too. So, but wonderful.
Okay,
Thank you, Sarah. Yeah,
okay.
that
Maybe
is
the paper or yeah.
well, we're coming to the end of the live stream where we've got 5 to 7 minutes left. But Malin, I was going to say one or two more things, but Malin, did you have anything you wanted to say or add? Okay. Like I said, as we continue this journey, as we keep working on these things, just think about, I think it's important. We're always looking forward, right? We're always looking like, what do we want to do? What's the next thing? What's the best thing? You know, right? Like, how can we grow? How can we get bigger? But we also, and sometimes we get disappointed with ourselves, right? I didn't do as much as I could have. I didn't raise as much as I should have. I could have spent 5 more minutes writing that email, but I left that email. It's now 2 weeks late, you know, those kind of things. And we get very disappointed in ourselves. And I think that also drives us too. That's important. But the other thing we need to do is we need to look backwards, right? We need to look and see, what did we do right? What do we do correctly so that I keep doing that, right? And so perfect example is the work in e-NABLE Georgia and Mexico is what I did right was, as soon as I thought about it, I started posting on, all I did was I make it a couple hands and I posted on Instagram and Facebook, went to a bunch of, and then I got not only a bunch of likes, but a bunch of contacts from this, right? And so these are things that other chapters can repeat, right? Those are the good things that we did. Those are the things that made my movement bigger than it is now, right? So, and then we start to double down on those things. So I think reflecting on where we've been is very helpful. What are other things that people think they've done? Like, I'm gonna ask Sarah, and Jonathan, what do you think e-NABLE has done really well up until this point to kind of lead us to the place we're in now? And I'll start with Sarah.
I think e-NABLE has done a wonderful job of building community.
Mm-hmm.
And finding really enthusiastic and knowledgeable people to lead interest groups and you know, kind of just keeping a really active platform going.
I
And
completely agree.
yeah.
Great. I completely agree with that. Yeah. This is what inspires with e-NABLE, and you can see that right here. Getting experienced people, inexperienced people, bringing them together. That's literally the microcosm right there. Jonathan, what have you've been with the group a long time too. What keeps you coming? What has e-NABLE done well?
I think e-NABLE has done really well at keeping the hub alive.
Right.
You see all these other journeys like the e-NABLE Web Central. We tried the matching platform that ended up being more complicated and didn't work out so well.
Mhm.
But the hub has been a huge key player to help organize these coalitions and groups,
Mhm.
facilitating connections across
Mhm.
nations and with other makers and newbies and
Mhm.
old people
Mhm.
with the organization altogether.
Yeah.
And I think that's been key to keeping e-NABLE alive and successful.
Actually, I'm really glad you brought that up because that's the other thing that I want to bring up is that just because we're talking about changes and additions, they're more of to enhance what we're already doing. So the hub is definitely not going away. The hub is still a key part of what Enable will be and is right now. We can't get rid of that community. We would never want to. The hub will maintain active. This is just one more, when I talk about the new website, it's just one more interface for people to kind of understand what Enable is and how to get involved. Yeah, but no, that's a good point. I think the worry too is when people start talking about changes and additions, they're worried that, oh, you're going to get rid of the thing I loved because change is always bad, right? So, but that's definitely not happening. We're definitely keeping that. I mean, the hub is the reason Danielle and Romeo got involved, right? So it's not, the hub's
Yeah,
not going away. The hub's not going
we
away
were
for
just
sure.
talking about that last night.
Yeah, that's exactly right. All right, I think we're coming close to the end of the hour. I really appreciate all of you guys coming. Sarah, we'll get on the schedule with you to figure out when the next appropriate time to meet is.
Okay.
And well, that'll be partially dependent on my clinic schedule and then also Malin's college schedule. So we'll see how it goes. All right, thank you, everybody. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much. Have a great